Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. And if you tuned in to the live show on Thursday, we did a joint live with Broncos Breakdown host Trace Mustakis. It was a lot of fun. We were live for about an hour, just talking trash, talking about the game, kind of get a different perspective from each host. But we got a game ahead of us, guys. A game ahead of us. AFC Championship. If you want the Broncos to beat. If you want to beat the Broncos this weekend, I almost spoke craziness. If you want to beat the Broncos this weekend, go ahead, hit that thumbs up icon, like today's video, so we can show those Broncos fans who the real fans are in the AFC. Let's get into the mailbag, guys. Gonzalez, what's the weather looking like during the game on Denver? Sunny and cold. So it is going to be around, I want to say 25 to 30 degrees, but I don't think any snow is happening. We do know that massive snowstorm that is going to go all the way through the Northeast. Well, it's not hitting Denver. It is hitting just straight up northeast, and it's going to miss completely. It'd be pretty cool if it was out in Foxborough, but we weren't that lucky this time around. But clear skies, 25 degrees, helps the Patriots that it's clear, because if it was snowy, that means you have to run the ball, and that gives an opportunity for Jarrett Stidham to not have to throw the ball. Connor Wiley, shout out to you, Connor. Who scares you on the Broncos defense? That's an easy one. It's Nick Bonito. He is by far the scariest player on this defense. I'm not scared of any of their linebackers like Jerry Greenlaw, or I'm not scared of Jonathan Cooper. I'm not scared of Pat Surtain. I'm definitely not scared of Riley Moss or Jahdae Barron, the rookie. It's Nick Bonito. He is by far their best player. He should be in one of the top edge rusher conversations. 14 sacks this season, and he's probably going to go up against Will Campbell. And we know about Will Campbell. It's a pretty, he has not played well in the playoffs. He's got to stay strong. He's got to be able to hold his ground. But if you let him get to the quarterback, it's going to be a long day. Bible content. Will Kyle Williams be involved more for once, and how will the weather impact the game? Well, like I just said, the weather won't impact the game much at all. It's just going to be cold, and I expect the Broncos and the Patriots, who both play in outdoor stadiums, to be fine with the cold weather because they practice in it. But Kyle Williams, I hope so. I really, really hope that he's involved more because we need him. He is a speedy guy. He is a guy that you need to take the top off the defense with. And he cannot get on the same page with Drake Maye. He's one catch in the entire postseason. He has multiple drops. He has been a non-factor. I will say, Mack Hollins did practice on Thursday, and he's eligible to come off IR. That's a good thing, but we will see if he will play. But if he doesn't, it's going to be up to Kyle Williams. You want him to get more involved, but he's the reason why he's not getting more involved. It's not a reason because he isn't being played. Your boy Trev, what are the key things to win this game? One of the biggest keys to victory that I have, and I'll say it again, is protect Drake Maye. Protect the quarterback. Drake Maye had 4 fumbles last week. One of them was on a running play by himself. It was a designed run. He tucked the ball, ran up the middle. But you can see right here, protect Drake Maye. That's my number one. And you're going to have to watch out for Nick Bonito. The left tackle, Will Campbell, he led a whole bunch of times, gets fumbled. Those fumbles are not on Drake Maye. You do have to hold the ball a lot more, feel that pressure, and tuck that ball in. Second, finish drives with kicks. Every drive should finish with a kick. Extra point, field goal, or punt. You can even punt. Pin Jarrett Stidham back at his own 10-yard line and blitz the hell out of Jarrett Stidham. It'll be the same thing as it is with C.J. Stroud. These quarterbacks, especially when Jarrett Stidham is a backup, these backup quarterbacks, they do not know how to handle the blitz. Anybody can throw the ball when you got a clean pocket. But if you get pressure on them, that's where the problems start. So you have to blitz Jarrett Stidham. Come up with packages, whether you blitz the linebacker or you blitz the safety up high. Anything can happen, but those 3 things are going to happen if you want to win. Who you got in this game? Let me know. Do you got the Patriots or do you got the Broncos? Look, we have lost 0-4 in the NFL history in Denver in the playoffs. I want this one thing to change. Records are meant to be broken. So go ahead, type your N's down in the comments section. Let me know who you got, and I better see a bunch of N's in the comments. Gonzalez, how do we feel about Maye going into this game? Look, Maye played one of his best games, and it wasn't a great game. He threw 3 touchdowns. He threw a garbage interception to end the half, which I really don't count. But When you throw 3 touchdowns against that type of defense, you know the talent that he has. He gets the playoff jitters out. Look, I watched multiple games the Patriots had in the postseason. And I watched a lot of Tom Brady highlights in the last week. There was multiple times Tom Brady threw an interception at the 5-yard line. He did it against the Chiefs. He did it against the Colts. He's done it multiple times. He did it against the Ravens in the 2012 AFC Championship game. Mistakes happen, but it's how you bounce back from those mistakes. And Drake Maye, he lost a fumble earlier in the game on Sunday. Bounced back through a touchdown to Kayshon Boutte. It's how you respond. And I feel good about Drake Maye. Get those playoff jitters out now because they're going to be happening. It's the AFC Championship game. It means going to the Super Bowl, but I feel great about having him as my quarterback. Joshua! Do Broncos fans actually believe the crap they are spewing, or is it just cope? Stidham couldn't beat out the lowly Raiders QBs, and now he's some kind of stud? Make it make sense. Look, man. They're coping. They went through the whole entire season with Bo Nix. He played decent. He played good. And now you got to go into the backup quarterback. They have to convince themselves that something has to happen. They got to convince themselves that they can win football games. That's it. So they think Jarrett Stidham is going to be good. I don't know why. They hasn't proven it, but you can't prove to me that a quarterback that hasn't thrown a pass in 2 years is going to go out there and just drop dimes. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. So I'm going to say it's cope. Now, I do think he can't play worse than C.J. Stroud did, but I guess anything is possible. We'll get to more questions in just a second, but first I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means your last chance to get into football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks, simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you can cash in. There's a new feature alert on Prize Picks. Now you have early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. And I have a lineup for this weekend's game. I ain't picking any Denver players. None. No player projections from Denver for me. But I got Drake Maye, the more on passing yards at 199.5. I got the more on Cooper Kupp at 1.5 receptions. And I got the more on Devontae Adams at 3.5 receptions in this one. You can make a lineup just like that when you download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. For the content, I know that we talk about Drake Maye holding the ball the last 2 playoff games, yet he's still fumbling the ball. What should the coach say or do to help? Well, I made a video about talking about it, and the one thing that the coach should say is step up in the pocket. A lot of these fumbles aren't your fault because when you expect to have time in the pocket when you're throwing, you're looking downfield. The left tackle is your blind side. You're not seeing that, and if Will Campbell can't guard, he's going to get smacked in the arm. The one thing, Drake Maye's got to tuck that ball a little more. And the one thing I watched when I was going back and watching some of these Tom Brady highlights, some of the Patriots AFC Championship games in the past, I noticed that the early ones, he wasn't wearing a glove. And if you look at his stats, which I talked about before, he had a lot of fumbles in his early careers, like 12, 14 fumbles in a single season. Then he started wearing the glove, started learning how to protect the football. Completely went down. I think that should be what Drake Maye should do. Whether or not he does, we'll find out and see. But it just takes time and experience in the NFL. It's only his second year in the league. So I'm not truly worried about it, but you got to protect the ball, of course. Cam Pre-War Garlic, shout out to you, my guy, the obvious one. What is the likelihood we see Hollins play? That is a great question. And Wednesday, I thought there was 0 chance because he did not practice. Thursday, he went out to the practice field. He was a limited participant in practice. So I was happy about it. We need him out there. He hasn't played in the last 4 games, or he's missed the last 4 weeks, and we have truly missed him. He is Drake Maye's one of his top targets. And if he's out there, you get another player to go deep downfield and another deep threat. So I hope Mack Hollins plays. We'll find out on Friday. We'll see when the injury designations come out. We shall see if Carlton Davis is passing concussion protocol, which he is still in the red T-shirt, non-contact jersey as of this recording. So we'll see. But if Hollins plays on Friday and he gets better, then I could see him being activated for this game. Connor Wiley, who was our X factor on offense and defense. The X factor on offense, I mean, if we don't want to go Drake Maye, then I would say the X factor on offense is Ramondre Stevenson. If he can establish the run game, if he can hold on to the football and do the exact same thing that James Cook did against the Buffalo Bills last week, when James Cook rushed for 117 yards, they will win this game. He is the biggest X factor. If you can establish a run, play action happens, and throw everything that the Broncos defense have out the window. And on defense, the X factor is obviously Milton Williams. Get to the quarterback, stop the run, stop J.K. Dobbins, stop R.J. Harvey, and blitz, sack Jarrett Stidham. He's your $100 million guy for a reason. Those are your X factors on offense and defense. Let's end Denver's season, man. I want to see Trace Moustakas cry. I want to see him all sad. We did the joint live today as of this recording. So go ahead, hit or spam F Denver down in the comments section. Let's end Denver's season. Big Daddy Joe, that's a best question. Love that question. When do you sit Will Campbell? When do you sit Will Campbell? Second half. You'll know if he has it the first half. You will know. If he is in the first half and he is bad, you got to go into the second half and bench him and bring him Darian Lowe. If he can't handle Nick Benito, you will know immediately the first two drives. If on the first two drives he lets up 2 sacks, immediately sit him. Look, he might be hurt, and he'll never say it, but if he's hurt, you can't play him. If he can't protect the quarterback, you cannot play him. This is a must-win game. It's not like, oh, he'll get better. No, this is win or go home. Your season ends if you lose. You have to make those decisions. But I would go into the second half. Second half is when I would sit him if he plays bad. If he plays bad. Cool, genuine Phil. Who will have more rushing yards Sunday, Drake or Mondre? I'm going to go Mondre. Everybody's talking about Drake's legs. I think that it's going to be Mondre. And I'll say, because everybody talks about the Broncos defense, and I'll say it a million times, James Cook carved him up. There's been multiple running backs to carve up this defense. I think they're a little overrated. I think the Texans defense is much better than the Broncos defense. I'll go with Mondre. Drake won't run unless he truly, truly needs to run. They're going to run the ball with Mondre. They're going to try to establish this run game a lot. Just watch in the first half. But if you're going with a Prize Picks lineup, take the more of Mondre's yards. We'll be live Sunday for Patriots versus Broncos. Hopefully, we're going to go noon or 1 o'clock Eastern time, 2 hours before game time. We're going to have some fun. Make sure you tune in, but you can't miss out unless you hit that sub button. So sub right now, and as always, let's go Pats.